Is that what helps get you through these training sessions, or are you doing stuff you don't want to do and going through surgery and all the recoveries?
Maybe to some degree. I think more than anything, I'm just incapable of not doing things, not doing something to get better. I mean, it's still no guarantee that I'll be healthy and be able to compete. There's no guarantee at all. But if I don't at least try everything that I can, then I'll probably regret that. So.
What are you about to do?
Just some backward sled, warm my legs up before hitting the belt squat.
What's the first piece you're doing?
5 supersets, 15 belt squats, and then 15 ATG reverse squats. So a lot of quads and hip flexors. Working on leg strength on the belt squat, and then hip flexion and knee flexion on the reverse squat to help the old knee out.
What is this one you're doing?
Some single leg bounding, box jumps, and wall sprints or foot strikes. Just working on like running mechanics, plyometric tolerance on my knee. I just started jumping and bounding a few weeks ago, so try to do this 2 to 3 times a week. And then I run 3 times a week, trying to build the structure up of my knee.
The date of your surgery?
October 5th. It's coming along good. Muscle mass is there. Stability feels great. Just still recovering from a lot of the inflammation from surgery. It's kind of the to be expected nature of the beast, being my 3rd ACL on this knee, but outside of that, some of the inflammation, it feels great.
So what are you doing in between sets for that?
I'm done. That was just like a shoulder warm-up with some banded face pulls and scat push-ups.
So on the season, you're not competing. What are you doing for the next 6 months, 8 months?
Well, I've been still training like 3 hours a day, at least. Some days a little more. But most of it is like structural integrity, strength work, hypertrophy. Still doing my fair share of like cardio. I can't help myself. But mostly the unsexy stuff, which I do not like at all. It's not why I started CrossFit, is to do bodybuilding and knee PT. But whatever it takes. A lot of grindy sessions where it's just boring, lifting, resting, accessories. I wouldn't even call them accessories, it's all heavy. Everything is heavy relative to where I'm at right now to gain muscle mass and, tendon, ligament strength, structural integrity, a lot of tempo stuff, a lot of belt squats, a lot of squats. My CrossFit, we pretty much leave to things that I can fully do pain-free so that I can maximize my intensity, and things that I am not ready to perform in my CrossFit, I'm doing like accessory-wise, so like snatching or cleaning and jerks and things like that. I am doing under no intensity, or at least under no metabolic intensity, and then everything else like machines, sandbags, dumbbells, can let it rip.
Weren't you thinking about not getting surgery at one point?
I was planning on. I had surgery in 2019, and I was under the impression that what I had in there was enough, maybe not the best. And so I managed that for as long as I could, with the hopes that I didn't want to have another traumatic surgery, and then had a tore my meniscus before semifinals because I didn't have an ACL, and all of the doctors, and I went to several, recommended ACL reconstruction, and I found a doctor who specializes in revision. He's new to Charlotte, really sharp doctor. Had probably like 5 or 6 appointments just talking to him, asking as many questions as I could, and what would be the best course of action. He was, believed pretty firmly that getting the ACL reconstruction would allow me to compete and perform at a really high level. And he said I'd be able to perform at a higher level than I was prior to. And prior to, I was performing at a relatively high level, so.
Right, 'cause prior to that, you landed 7th, 6 points out at Granite Games in 21, right?
Yeah, and then
you qualified to Syndicate or MAC?
Yeah, I qualified to Syndicate.
And that was where you, after?
Right before that, yeah.
Was it right before you qualified? Like you already knew?
No, it was right, I tore it right, like a couple weeks before Syndicate. Yeah. I had been tweaking that meniscus a bunch of times leading up to Syndicate and Wadapalooza and all that, and was managing and not squatting. Really, I couldn't squat. And then it felt better for quarterfinals. Like I wasn't sure if I was going to do the Open last year. I had injured it before. Was able to get through the Open, then was able to perform in quarterfinals again to a relatively high level. I think placed like 30 something in quarterfinals. But
and that was the year you did Wadapalooza, right?
Yeah, there were a couple workouts at Wadapalooza I just had to take last because I knew if I pushed it at all, I was going to risk things up.
But even then, you were in 10th. Yeah. Which that year is a pretty good deal.
It's a stressful weekend, and kind of really highlights the dichotomy of what I was able to do and what I wasn't able to do on workouts where I had, no fear and no issues with my knee. I took a first and a second, and then a couple workouts where I knew I just had to get through it healthy. Took last place or close to it. So I know what I'm capable of when I am healthy. And
is that what helps get you through these training sessions, or you're doing stuff you don't want to do and going through surgery and all the recoveries? Or what more motivates you to want to do all this stuff?
Maybe to some degree. I think more than anything, I'm just incapable of not doing things, not doing something to get better. I mean, it's still no guarantee that I'll be healthy and be able to compete. There's no guarantee at all. But if I don't at least try everything that I can, then I'll probably regret that. So that's more so what keeps me in here, is just knowing that I have to try everything I can. And if I try everything and it just doesn't work out, then that'll suck, but I won't regret it.
What was it like going into Wadapalooza knowing that there's going to be events that you just couldn't do?
It sucked. I hated everything about that weekend. I had really high expectations a couple months out, and then about a month out I tweaked my meniscus again because I didn't have an ACL, and for a month going in I couldn't squat at all, and I didn't want to pull out. I felt like a couple weeks out I was considering withdrawing, but I felt like I could get through the weekend healthy, still gain some competitive experience, and still do okay. And so I've made the decision that on those 2 events that were going to present some issues, I would just pull back my intensity and get through them healthy and maximize everything else the rest of the weekend. And I got through the weekend healthy, or continuing to get healthier. And at that point in time, I was still under the impression that I could manage it. And if I managed the volume correctly and rehabbed correctly, I would be able to train. And then it just became evident that that wasn't the case. And when that became evident, I got surgery. So I don't have any regrets there either. I don't think surgery should ever be the first option. And so I made it the last option, and it just so happened that it came to the point where that became the necessary course of action.
What's the next piece of it?
Strict press and single arm dumbbell row. Okay. The ingredients to success: chocolate chip power cakes, some shitty tasting carb supplement mixed with beta alanine and creatine. Makes the waffle aftertaste hit just right. Critical human mass reduction of 38%.
Rundown workout you're about to do?
Every 6 minutes for 6 sets, 500-meter standing bike, 10 dumbbell snatches with the 70, 500-meter standing bike, 10 devil's presses with 50s.
You always train this much every day? What is your training schedule in the week?
9 a.m. to around noon, and then typically a little something later on in the day as well.
How many days a week right now?
5 days of that, and then Thursday I do like some cardio conditioning. Take me Monmouth biker for sure, and then I want you to get some walking in. Like, do you have an air runner? Okay, let. Rounds.
Go again. What are you doing?
5 rounds for time, 20 calorie echo, 20 toes to bar. Just a little short little finisher. And then I got some more strength training later. So I'll hit this, then work on my computer, and then finish my strength training and accessory up later.
What are you doing here?
Our plunge water pump broke or went out, so they sent us a new pump. So I'm putting the new pump in and gonna fill it with water, and hopefully by tonight I can plunge.
Is this kind of part of your training?
I'm not just a pretty face.
Should fix it.
We'll find out. In 20 minutes.
Approximately 10 hours later.
What are you doing, bro?
3 sets, 8 weighted pull-ups, 15 floor presses, and 10 each side. Lunge position, kettlebell side bend, or dumbbell. So I'm about to hit these. I hope they don't look dumb.
Oh, you look sick, dude. Don't worry.
Could you imagine if your fucking nuts weighed this much?
Is this your last piece of the day?
Yeah,
What is it?
just some Russian kettlebell swings and some cable rotations.
Who programs all this for you? Is this all your coach or PT?
My coach. All of it's my coach. We collaborate a little bit, and by collaborate I mean I give feedback and tell him what I think I need and want, or make certain adjustments to certain pieces. But he's the man with the master plan. John Main. Love him.
Sweet.
That's a full day of training right now. 5 months post-surgery. So it's all really sexy and fun to watch.
Sign up for your program.
Yeah, if you want to do thousands of Russian kettlebell swings and meet PT, sign up for SMTB. Just kidding. But sign up for a 7-day free trial. It's the shit. We work really hard to give you guys the best training, the most detail, the best coaching, the best progressions, the best price, the best community. It's the shit. Try it out.